We all have days when even simple tasks feel heavy. Days when it's hard to find motivation or even start. In a world that celebrates productivity and hustle, it's easy to feel like we are falling behind if we are not always moving, always giving 100%. But what if there's another way? A slower, more intentional way of being productive that honors our energy, our boundaries, and our well-being. In this video, we'll explore what it means to be truly productive, not by doing more, but by doing what matters in a way that feels sustainable. It's about rethinking productivity through the lens of slow living. The important thing is that there's more to productivity than just practical tips. It often has a lot to do with your self-image and your perception of self-worth. Who are you measuring yourself up against? What amount of productivity is enough for you? We live in a world of competition where the bar is often simply set high. Do you take these standards for granted, or can you find a way to make your own definition of productivity? Hi, my name is Jana. Welcome back to my channel, where I talk about slow living and my life in the Finnish countryside. I recently had one of those days. I was supposed to do marketing for my business. I was supposed to be applying for grants for my projects. But I didn't feel like doing it. I was trying to avoid it. I was procrastinating. This led me to a few insights about productivity that I realized that might be helpful for others too. First of all, what's the feeling behind your reluctancy to do a thing? It's really important to become aware of that. For example, when I was trying to avoid my marketing tasks, I realized that I was afraid of the rejection, that the people who I was trying to reach out to might say no. And in fact, having worked as self-employed for years, I know that there's always a lot of no's involved in this work. And I should be used to it by now, but it still always feels bad. And that's why I was trying to avoid the work. When you're trying to become aware of the thoughts and feelings that are making you reluctant to do a task, you might become face to face to some of your deepest fears, such as, what if I'm not competent in this job? What if everybody just secretly dislikes me, but they're too polite to tell me? What if I've chosen the wrong career? What if I fail and make a fool of myself? Everybody will laugh at me. Maybe I've set my goal too high. Maybe this is too risky. I should just quit. Just remember that even though you might be having these thoughts, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily true. You don't have to believe in them. And you shouldn't let your fear dictate what you should or shouldn't invest your time in. The tricky thing is that these kinds of thoughts are often subconscious or so automatic that it might be difficult to even notice them. Just the awareness that you're having these kinds of thoughts might be helpful. Another important thing is to become aware of the why. Why do you want to do something in the first place? Why do you work where you work? Why are you interested in a certain project? The outer motivation is often money. We all need money, but for me, the more important motivating factor is the inner motivation. Why are you feeling passionate about something? What is it that drives you, that keeps you going? If you find that inner passion, it really can take you far. You will more easily find the energy and the stamina to do what you're supposed to be doing. In my example of marketing for my business, I have noticed that it's so much easier for me to reach out to people if it's for a project that I'm genuinely interested in, something that I've been dreaming of doing for a long time, then it's just, I find this flow space. I seem to find the right people. But if I'm doing it just for the money, which is a completely valid reason to work, but I think it shows if you're doing things just for money, you're acting out of fear. But if you're acting out of enthusiasm, it will show. People will see your energy, and it will, I believe, it will lead to better results. Thinking about productivity, how to apply this to mundane tasks that you have to do but you're not really feeling so enthusiastic about. Well, I feel like there's always something to get excited about. If I'm working on something that I'm not like 100% interested in, I try to find other things to get excited about. For example, I think about how I'm helping my client. I think about how I'm helping the end user. For example, if I'm writing a marketing text for a client, I think about how their client is going to benefit from my text. And just the general sense of achieving something, doing your work well, that's something that can be really motivating. And besides, I feel like there's always something, at least something interesting in everything. Even just a tiny bit. If you focus on that instead of how unpleasant it feels like and how boring it is, you will get better results. At some point, you will have to take a step forward from all this awareness that I was just talking about, and you will just have to decide to do it, whatever it is that you need to do. Just taking action, even just a tiny bit of action, is helpful. Just getting started. You might decide that, okay, I will try to do this for a while, maybe for half an hour, and see what happens. And after that half an hour, you are completely on fire, you know exactly what to do, you have gotten inspired in the process. And what helps is breaking the task into smaller tasks and making a list and then ticking off every single task when you have completed it. That way you can clearly see what needs to be done, and make sure to make those smaller tasks small enough, like writing an email could be one task, because that way you can feel the sense of accomplishment when you get even something small done. And you can congratulate yourself every step of the way. And remember to reward yourself too. A reward could be a break or having a nice cup of tea, something small that you like. And remember, try not to be too hard on yourself if you can't be as productive as you would like to be, or if you don't remember to be as positive as you would like to. We've all been there. It's not your fault. I think it's the same for most of us. We just have to learn the tools on how to manage ourselves. Trying to talk to yourself as if you were talking to your best friend. If your best friend makes a mistake, you don't blame them. You try to encourage them. Try to make them feel better. You remind them that there's going to be another chance. It's not the end of the world. It's also really important to accept that not every day has to be equally productive. There are days when you get a lot done, and then there are other days when it seems like you get nothing done. But you need those periods to mull things over And then after that period, you might have a burst of energy, a burst of productivity. Accepting that can be really helpful. What about you? Do you have any tips on how to rethink productivity, how to be more gentle on yourself, how to approach productivity from a slow living point of view? I'd love to hear your experiences and your tips. We can all support each other in this. Or if you have anything else that you would like to share with me, how is your slow living journey going? Do you have any requests or ideas for upcoming videos? Please let me know. Thank you for watching. Remember to take care of yourself. See you in the next video. Bye bye.